Welcome to the still terribly named Okay Not Okay podcast. I am the SportsZu, and today are my top 5 way too early bold predictions for WWE in 2025 that have basically nothing to do with WrestleMania whatsoever. Because I already have my 3-night, 19-match WrestleMania weekend card that I just put out a couple weeks ago after Survivor Series War Games, so be sure to go back and check that out if you haven't already. And of course, I've got a link down below to that video so you don't miss it. Everybody loves a countdown, so let's switch gears and go to my top 5 countdown for my way too early bold predictions for WWE in the upcoming year. And at number 5, the 2025 Rookies of the Year on the main roster will not be either of the current NXT champions, Trick Williams or Roxanne Perez. Nope, they might be hanging out down there for a while instead. So my Rookies of the Year for 2025 will be Ethan Page and Julia. And I know Doc had a video a couple weeks ago where he gave his top 5 transfer portal trades. And sure enough, he had both Ethan Page and Julia going to the main roster there. So I hate to do it, but I kind of agree with him for once. So yeah, I think he actually had a point. Now, I don't think his trades are actually going to take place in the transfer portal, but if he's right about that, I would have to give him some props, so we certainly don't want that to happen. But truth be told, he was right that both of them have a lot of experience inside the ring, but outside of WWE, so there's not going to be much point to keep them in NXT for long, so we might as well call them right on up to the main roster, which I think will happen by the draft at the latest, and it certainly could happen much like a couple of 2024's possible Rookies of the Year that we'll reveal here very soon. But just like them, they could be up as soon as the Royal Rumble. That takes us to my number 4 bold prediction, which will be that Becky Lynch will be the first new Grand Slam champion under the new format, assuming they decide to do that, which Michael Cole brought up at Saturday night's main event, but after I had already brought that up a couple weeks earlier on my predictions for WrestleMania, so they're just following me per usual. But we already know that Becky Lynch is willing to go out of her way to become a Grand Slam champion, which she did when she went down to NXT to defeat Tiffany Stratton, so she became a Grand Slam champion under the old format. But Becky has pretty much accomplished everything in WWE that you could want to accomplish at this point. So if I know anything about Becky Lynch, she's going to go hunting to become a new Grand Slam champion. So that is why I already put her in the IC championship match for WrestleMania against Lyra Valkyria. So sure, we can just say that she's going to win that match there. And somehow, some way, she'll find her way to get a Women's United States Championship match later in the year. Perhaps she gets drafted to the brand that has the US title. Perhaps the title just gets switched to her brand in the draft. Who knows? Maybe she'll be considered a free agent and will go wherever she wants to because she's too busy and isn't working a full-time schedule and wants to do some acting. So she'll just pop up wherever and she'll go right for that title. So there you have it. Somehow, some way, Becky Lynch will win both the women's US title and the women's IC title and become the first new Grand Slam champion. At number 3, Gunther loses the World Heavyweight Championship at the Royal Rumble. And the more important part for the prediction is that he does not win any title for the rest of 2025. So we've already seen that Gunther has been losing his confidence over the last few months, but he's found a way to find it in the match itself, and he's been able to hold on to that World Heavyweight Championship. but I think that time is coming to an end very quickly. But in my WrestleMania video, I said that he would be losing that title at the premiere of Raw on Netflix. But unfortunately, that's not coming to pass since they decided to go with Punk versus Rollins instead. But I think whoever wins that match will get a shot at Gunther at the Royal Rumble, and that will be Seth Rollins, in my personal opinion, though it doesn't matter much for this particular prediction. That said, he's going to lose that title there. Rollins and Punk have a rematch at WrestleMania, and Gunther's out of the picture. And because of that, he's going to lose his confidence even more as he is berated leading up to that match. And then once he loses, he will be a fish out of water and won't know what to do. And so we're going to see him lose matches throughout all of 2025, which will be a crazy departure from what we've seen, as he has been a champion for about 80% of his time in the WWE and pretty much never loses any matches whatsoever. But that downward spiral will gain him some sympathy from the fans along the way, so we can certainly expect a fully fledged babyface turn throughout 2025. So eventually he will regain his confidence in the latter part of the year, but that won't get him a title shot before 2025 ends, but he might be in a good position to win something going into 2026. At number 2, Montez Ford finally breaks free from the Street Profits to go on a singles run, and he will become a mid-card champion as a heel in that scenario, as we've already seen him get a little bit more serious over the last couple of months in the tag team division. And I think eventually he's going to be put over the edge here, and he's going to turn on Angelo Dawkins. But hopefully things work out for Angelo, because he's been pretty good for several years as well, so I hope he's not left behind. But that said, in part 2 of this, Bianca Belair will indeed be revealed to be the one to have attacked Jade Cargill, so she will battle Jade as a bad guy. But when she loses to Jade, she's going to need a little bit of time off of TV, but when she returns, she too will return in time to become a champion herself, so that both Montez and Bianca are holding champions as heels working together for the first time in WWE. And at number 1, John Cena is retiring at the end of 2025 from in-ring competition. So how are we going to get there? I think that we will have a career versus title match where he challenges for the undisputed WWE Championship against the Viper, Randy Orton, at Survivor Series. And in that career versus title match, he will defeat Randy Orton to become a 17-time world champion and pass Ric Flair for the most of all time. But after his win on the very next show, he will say that he has reconsidered it and is going to retire effective immediately and is vacating the title. But before he hands over that title belt, out will come Cody Rhodes, now himself a fully fledged heel. But Rhodes is going to berate Cena so badly that it will be a career and title match, such that whoever wins will get the title and whoever loses will have to retire. So we know how this story ends, as of course Rhodes has to beat Cena in the middle of the ring to become champion once again, and Cena will retire once and for all at December's Saturday night's main event, so that everyone can see him on free TV one last time. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 way too early bold predictions for the WWE in 2025. But if you missed the doc handing out his 5 lumps of coal in 2024, as well as this week's question on the week, then be sure to go right on over here to check those out right now. And I am the SportsZu, and this has been the OK Not OK podcast.